If this video was sent to you, I take that as a sign. If this video came across your YouTube algorithm, I take that as a sign to walk into a new chapter in your life. If you're going through a season of difficulty, a season of confusion, a season of depression, I think this may be the video for you. Welcome to the School of Gratitude. My name is Ahmad Rasul Muhammad. I'm the co-founder of the School of Gratitude and a gratitude practitioner. I lead this group of individuals from all across the world where we share our gratitude daily. And so I'm glad that you could be here. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about gratitude and why it can be difficult in the beginning, right? This practice of whether it be gratitude journaling or just remembering to be grateful, remembering to call your loved ones and say thank you. These different small gestures, right, that kind of escape our top of mind, right? We watch a lot of videos online, and in these videos, a lot of them say, man, I just lost somebody very close to me. Love yours, call that person, tell them that you love them. If you still have that person in your life. What makes us make those videos, as sad as it sounds, is that we're not mindful as a people on a day-to-day basis to tell the people that we love that we appreciate them, that we see them. And so this gratitude practice is something that I take very personally because I have experienced that in my life as well. Losing my father at the age of 10, I can vividly remember us crowding around his bedside a few days before he passed away. And me and my siblings, shared different things that we appreciated him for. And the things that I shared were so shallow. And I just thought I had more time. And the situation was a new space for me. As a 10-year-old, I wasn't used to expressing myself in that way. And so it allowed me to grow and mature in a way where I constantly give my gratitude and appreciation for those that I love in my life, because I never know when it's truly the last day. And so in this conversation, in this video, I definitely want to give us some thoughtful ideas around why gratitude is difficult, but why it is more than necessary, and how we can grow into it. And it becomes almost like second nature. It's kind of like going to the gym, right? That first month is the most crucial part of you going to the gym, because in that first month, it's all pain, no progress, right? It truly is progress, but you can't view the progress, right? The progress isn't really viewable. All you feel is pain. You're going to the gym every single day and you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you see the same person that you saw day one, but you feel a whole lot worse. But if you can make it through that first month, you see that a transformation has truly taken place. And so gratitude can feel forced at first, right? And it doesn't mean that this gratitude is negative, but is oftentimes the first time that we have decided to embrace a positive perspective, right? And so a lot of people feel like gratitude is hard because we're just ungrateful people by nature. And that's not necessarily true. Gratitude is more difficult because it feels like we're not living authentically in our truth, right? We're not acknowledging that something did happen and it did hurt us, or we're not quite happy about it, right? And so that is our truth. But I think a part of the bigger process with stepping into gratitude is acknowledging that there's more than one truth in every situation. And so it's not about smiling over something that actually hurt you, right? And just trying to make it seem like it's positive when it's not. But it's about a reframing. Gratitude is not a performance, and it's not a denial. Gratitude is you learning to tell the truth in a different way, right? Because the first truth is something is wrong, right? Something went wrong, something happened not up to your standard, right? You woke up today and you were like, man, this is gonna happen, like work is gonna be perfect, I'm not gonna have to deal with nobody's attitude, or I'm gonna make it on time, or whatever your perfect morning, your perfect day was, and it didn't go quite up to your standards, right? That is a truth. It did not go quite up to your standards. But there is a second truth in this situation, right? And that second truth is something still went right, right? So I want you to take a second to think about that, right? When your day does not start off up to your standard, something went wrong, but something still went right. What went right in that situation? Well, you woke up first and foremost, right? You woke up to have the blessing to experience issues, right? You woke up with the ability to get in your car and turn the keys, right? You woke up with the ability to see, which is an immense blessing beyond being able to fathom, right? You know, a conversation we had in one of our private sessions was the questions, if you couldn't see, what would you still value? And it really changed the way that I framed a lot of things in my life, right? Because, you know, there's so many goals in my life that I had that I did not realize were so deeply attached to my ability to see them, right? And if I could no longer see them, would I still value them the same? And so it just really put my appreciation for my eyes, for my ability to see, right? For the richness of my lived experience that I'm able to experience just by simply being able to see, right? The richness of my experience, just being able to walk. Those two things may not seem major at all when you feel like it's a given. But once you have seen and people who've that gift has been taken away from them, that privilege has been taken away from them, you truly understand the depth of that blessing. And so I want us to implore and just be thoughtful about the different things in our day, even if they didn't start exactly how we wanted them. And when you only trained yourself to scan life for its issues, it can be very uncomfortable to try to scan it for what's going right, right? It just doesn't quite feel like you, right? And so oftentimes we have negative language, and I implore people to use more positive language, right? You know, I can't do this, or I'm not good at that, right? And why not say, I'm getting better at that, right? You say, man, I'm going through something right now, right? Well, you could say, I'm growing through something right now, right? The power of positive affirmations to yourself. You know, I was listening to an interview by the boxer, Anthony Joshua, I believe, and he was talking about his training and how when he goes through training, he has to commit to the goal that he set out, right? So if he told himself that he's going to run 10 miles this morning or he's going to jog 10 miles this morning, he has to jog those miles. And so the interviewer asked him, why do you jog? Why don't you like take a cheat day? Like, why do you have to do everything that you've set out for yourself that morning? And he said, it's not necessarily about that specific day, right? If I don't do it, nothing's really big is going to change for that specific morning or that specific day. But it's in the ring when I'm in the 10th round, right? Or I'm in the 12th round. And my body is like in a place that it's rarely ever gone to, right? And I need to call on my body and tell it that we're going to do something that we've never done, or we're going to do something that's very difficult. And I need my body to know that when I say we do things, we do them, right? And it was such a powerful framing, right? To have to commit to this practice of him committing to what he says he's going to do. So when he's in those high situations or he's in those tough situations, for his body to know that this is what we do. When he says we're doing it, we're doing it. And so the body is more apt to not give up because he's saying we're not giving up. And it's the same in your own personal process with your own mind. You know, you have to be able to speak these different positive affirmations, these different affirmations over your life to be able to let yourself know we will not fail. We will not surrender. We will not retreat. We're going to go through this moment We're going to get through this moment by hell or high water. There is no turning back. And when you tell yourself this every morning, when you speak in these positive affirmations in your life, your body and your mind is training itself to obey you, right? Your body is training itself to obey you, to obey the God within you who's telling you, we're greater than all of this opposition. We will not retreat. And so I think it's very powerful to be able to speak positivity over your life. You know, a lot of people may not see the benefit of these different things, but it is truly transformative and powerful once you get into the habit of constantly keeping affirmations in your daily life. If you are one of those individuals who incorporate affirmations in your daily process in the morning, whether it be throughout the day, at night, please comment some powerful affirmations that you found to be very helpful. I would love to see them in the comments. But I think it's a very powerful framing, right? And so if you've been through pain for years, right, embracing a positive perspective definitely can be difficult. It's like a stray dog lucking up into a great situation, right? And they finally get adopted, right? From years of living in the streets. And they still have a habit of growling. They still have the habit of biting. And so you can't really blame the dog, right, for its survival habits, right, for its habit of looking over its shoulder and not relaxing and not comforting it, or not calming down, or just having a sense of comfort, right? And so the question is there something wrong with the dog? Because there's nothing wrong with the dog. There was something wrong with the situation that it was put under, right? But the real question the dog has to answer within itself, right? The person who's in this situation that is now out of survival mode into a situation where they can truly embrace abundance. The question that you have to ask yourself is, do you want, is where you came from where you want to live moving forward? Is where you came from where you want to start a life, right? To build a life from, right? It's like building a life on a plot of land. Is that the plot of land that you want to build a life on? Because that is essentially your foundation at this point. You either have to find a new foundation, or you're going to build a life on this foundation. And all the different things in your life, from raising your children to your relationships with your family, right, to the relationships with people that you work with out in the world, the relationship with yourself. If you do not deal with this negative foundation, these negative things that you have built up in your experience in survival mode, they will be the foundation that this house, that this infrastructure, that this temple, which is yourself, will sit on as you mature and grow through life. And so it's definitely something that we have to take a second and pause and think about, right? That we have embraced negative perspectives, right? Embraced ingratitude, right? Embraced the negative perspective, embraced calling up your friend and sharing some negative news with them, or sharing how you're frustrated about a relationship, or you're frustrated about a job. But perhaps in order for you and your friendship circle to get to the next level, you have to embrace a more positive conversation. You have to embrace a more positive self-talk. It's no more time for just calling your friend anymore and complaining about that relationship that you don't like, or that job that you don't like, or this situation that isn't quite how you want it to be. Now is the time, if you want to embrace that level of abundance, embrace that next phase in your life, you have to have conversations about solutions. You have to have conversations with affirmations. You have to have conversations uplifting your circle, uplifting yourself, right? And spreading that uplifting energy. It is not the time for passively spreading soul-snatching negative energy. This is the time and period of your life. If you want to get to that next level, you have to embrace a version of yourself that you've never been. And so it's important for us to step into the season of expansion. And so let me break it down what that season of expansion looks like, right? Because gratitude in your mind, gratitude can feel like you're signing your name onto the bottom of your suffering, right? And saying thank you for this suffering. and it's not something that you truly have embraced yet. But gratitude is not saying thank you for the suffering. Gratitude is simply awareness for the areas of your life that you're not suffering in. And so your nervous system is trained to sense out these threats. And the gratitude, the more you take it in and the more you apply it to your daily practice, it'll unknot some of these nervous knots inside of your body that you've built up from years of survival. Because a lot of us, before we say thank you, we're restricted, right, by what feels like the truth, right? Which, like I said previously, is that first truth. But we have to embrace that second truth. It become a part of maturity, right? A part of calmness and peace is embracing that second truth, right? The first truth is the immediate reaction, right? But it's the difference between reacting and responding. The second truth is our response. The first truth is our reaction. And so it's about us being mindful about how we grow and elevate through our life and through our process. And so how do you move past forced gratitude? Which is a very excellent question. You stop trying to do it with big gestures, right? Or feeling like gratitude is something that's supposed to hit you overnight when it's not. You know, gratitude can be a very gradual process. You know, the way I would describe it is it's kind of like falling in love. You know, there's some people who they say it's love at first sight. And then there's some people who say, you know, it was a process. I didn't really like them at first. I didn't really get along with them at first. I didn't kind of understand like what their get down was. But over time, that love can build. And so sometimes gratitude will hit you and it'll be a first love. It'll be a love at first sight situation. And other times it requires you to grow. It requires you to learn more. It requires you to trust and listen and just be patient and be still. And so there is no right or wrong with this thing, as long as you're seeking that match, as long as you're seeking that elevation, which is a gratitude, a more grateful perspective, it'll find you in whatever form it fits you and resonates with you. And so we have to start with honest gratitude, right? We don't want to start with a forced or unhonest gratitude. We want to start with honest gratitude. So step one, we want to name what is heavy, right? We want to name what is heavy and we want to state it plain. And step two, we want to find one place that you're not chained, even in the midst of this very real issue or very real problem or roadblock. We want to find one place where you're not chained, right? And so this is a part of our daily process in the School of Gratitude, where we share 5 things that we're grateful for every single day. And, you know, throughout our process, like we've been doing it well over a year now. And so I've had days where I'm not having the best day. And I've had days where it seems like everything's going wrong. And I've had days where it seems like everything's going right. Consistency on any given day is about choosing, right? Because we believe that happiness is not a destination. It is a decision. And so you have to choose to be happy. You have to choose to be grateful. You have to choose to experience that state of being and state of mind that you feel like the hilltop is going to give you in the midst of the journey, right? And so that's how we stay on the journey. That's how we stay in process. A lot of people don't understand the power of visualization. You know, some of the world's top athletes, they visualize success before they've ever even got in the competition, right? Before that gun has been shot off or the bell is rang or the ball has been thrown in the air or the coin has been flipped, right? They've already visualized themselves winning. And so we have to work on ourselves in our visualization. Step 3 is just repeating the process until it becomes real, right? Until it becomes a part of yourself. You want to repeat that process. And so these are the steps that will cause us to begin that process of reflection, to begin that process of rebooting our nervous system, to be able to be open to experience the world of gratitude. And so this is a practice that I would just implore you to try, right? And so your homework today is just try to find one thing that is right today, right? One thing that is beyond amazing, that you're beyond grateful for, right? Something that I found really powerful in one of our private sessions was the question that we had posed to our group, which was, if you only woke up today with what you were grateful for yesterday, what would you have today? If you only woke up today with what you said thank you for yesterday, what would you have today? And so I would just implore you to say thank you for one thing in your life, right? What is one thing in your life that you would absolutely want to have tomorrow, right? And if you said thank you for that thing, you can keep it tomorrow. What would that thing be? And so you can, just practice that thing, or you can comment it below. I'd love to hear what your gratitude is. And let me know what you think about this video. Leave your comments, your thoughts, what you would like us to speak on in future videos. Some gratitude practices that have been very good for you. This is our first of many different series and types of videos, but this is definitely one of the types of videos that I'm looking forward to doing more in the future. So I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate your time and attention, your efforts and energy, and I hope to see you on future videos. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. But more importantly than anything, share this video with someone that you think could really benefit from this conversation. Someone who may be at a very high moment in their life, right? And really could use some balance. Or maybe somebody who's at a low and really just needs a sense of peace and calm and direction. Or just needs a word of encouragement and just letting them know that it's going to be okay. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Once again, my name is Ahmad Rasul Muhammad, and I look forward to seeing you. All right, you guys, take care.